The next candidate we are going to hear from is one that I take personal pride in presenting. I take personal pride in presenting all of them, but this is someone I've known for over 40 years. Senator Chris Dodd, and well, his sister and I went to school together. And in those days, we lorded over him that we were in college and he was in high school. We thought that was great then. Now we don't make that claim. But in any event, knowing that family and their commitment to public service, it was interesting and a source of great pride for all of us to watch Chris go from college to the Peace Corps, and shortly thereafter go to the Congress of the United States, and in a short period of time after that, become a United States Senator from Connecticut. His life has been about politics and what it means to people. His focus in Congress has been on America's children. There is no one in Congress who has done more than Chris Dodd to be a champion for America's children. And that was even before he had any children of his own. He and his wife, Jackie, have brought their two daughters, Grace and Christine, to Iowa so they can be together during this campaign. That is the personal connection that they are making to Iowa. But let me tell you about Chris. I mean, he has international credentials, but I'm proudest of what he's done for children. He was the author of the Family and Medical Leave Act. He introduced it and fought for it over and over again until it became the law of the land. And Chris Dodd passed the legislation that provides almost all of the federal assistance for child care in America. He knows we must do more, but Chris Dodd has led the way. Whether it's the health, the education, the economic security of the children's families, or the safety of their neighborhoods. Long before 9/11, Chris Dodd was fighting for our firefighters to make sure they had what they needed. What they needed to protect the American people in our country, in our communities, in our neighborhoods. Again, he has been a champion for children. He has been a leader for America and our values throughout the world. It is my personal and official privilege, and political one as well, to introduce the next President of the United States, the Senator from Connecticut, Chris Dodd.
Thank you, and welcome to Breakfast in Des Moines. Thank you all very, very much. Let me first of all thank Nancy Pelosi. Hasn't she done a remarkable job this evening? How about a round of applause? Nancy, you've been a great speaker, a great master of ceremonies this evening. Nancy Pelosi, we thank her immensely for what she's done. Obviously, Chet Culver and Mary doing a wonderful job as your governor and first lady. I want to also recognize, as others have, the congressional delegation here. But I want to say a special thank you to Tom Harkin. Tom Harkin and we arrived together on the same day in 1975 as two freshman members of Congress. I had a full head of black hair back in those days. But Tom Harkin and Berkeley Bedell and Mike Bluen and I from the Iowa delegation, and we've been friends for 33 years, This is one of the best public servants I've ever met in my life. Give a great Iowa thank you to Tom Harkin. Tom, I thank you immensely. You're a great friend and a great senator for our country. Well, this is quite a gathering, I got to tell you. I took my children to the Iowa State Fair. I think that was a smaller event than this. At that event, they were eating everything on a stick they could get their hands on. Tonight, it's candidates on a stick, in a sense, here we have. But it's great to be with my fellow candidates for this incredibly important office that you've heard already them talk about how important it is. And I'm going to be relatively brief this evening. You've heard a great deal already. But as been pointed out to you here, in 54 days from tonight, Iowans are going to gather in some 2,000 precincts throughout the 99 counties of this state and make your choice as to which one of us ought to be the candidate for President of the United States. You've saddled yourself with a tremendous responsibility. You'll have a great influence on the outcome of this race. I want to ask you tonight what I've asked people over the last number of weeks and months as I've crisscrossed this state over the last year and a half. I want to ask you for your backing. I want to ask you for your support. And I'm going to ask you for your vote on that caucus night in January. And I want to take a couple of minutes and explain why. That I believe I'd be the best candidate for our party, and I believe I can make a difference in getting our country back on its feet again and restoring that moral authority we've heard about this evening for the United States. Nothing less than that is at stake for our country. On January 20th, 2009, it is my hope and my plan that I'll be on the west front of the Capitol of the United States. I plan to be there as the newly elected President of the United States. And I'm going to raise my right hand and I'm going to swear to do two things that every president since George Washington has sworn to do. That is to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States and to keep our country safe. Those are the two obligations that every president swears to uphold during his or her tenure in office. The Bush administration has failed entirely on both counts. On both counts, they have failed our country, in my view. In fact, they've not only failed on both accounts, they've made it worse. This administration has caused a greater assault on the Constitution than any administration that I can think of throughout the history of our nation. It has been an assault on the Constitution, and our country is a lot less safe, a lot less secure, and a lot more isolated, as all of us know. This much I commit to you here in Iowa this evening. On the very first hour of the very first day, on January 20th, 2009, as I have fought for over the last number of years in this administration, I will restore to the American people the Constitution of the United States. You're going to get your Constitution back. You're going to get your Constitution back. No more Abu Ghraibs. No more Guantanamos. No more torture. No more rendering. No more providing retroactive immunity for companies that turned over their records to the Bush administration without a court order. No more waterboarding. No more denying people habeas corpus in this country, the right that has existed for 900 years. And there'll be no more attorney generals of the United States who believe that an American president is above the law. That's going to change. I wonder if any of you over the last several days have found it as ironic as I have that the Secretary of State and the President of the United States, while shredding our Constitution, have been calling on General Musharraf in Pakistan to restore the Constitution in Pakistan. Strikes